Hi guys. There have been a few changes in the garden, so I thought I'd give you an update. Here we have my pepper plants. They've been outside overnight, even for at least a few days now. They are doing very, very well. I'm so happy with how they recovered from the way they were looking when they were still in the garage. I'm gonna plant them soon. It's just a matter of time and energy and trying to avoid the heat wave that we're in right now. I did manage to plant my tomatoes this weekend though. I have 2 beds of tomatoes with 8 plants each. There's one over here too. I think I went over varieties, but I have Roma Grande, which is an indeterminate paste tomato. I have at least 6 of those because I use those the most. And I have Mortgage Lifter, Cherokee Purple, which is my favorite for things like BLTs. It just has a lot of flavor. I have Rosella, which is a dark cherry tomato that I haven't tried before. I have more Cherokee Purple, and then some Carbon, which are very similar to Cherokee Purple. And then I have some Volunteer strawberries here. And then on this side we have Cherry Roma, which is your basic grape tomato, more Roma Grandes, and one more Mortgage Lifter. So the broccoli is definitely outgrowing the little, I don't know if I mentioned why these are on here. These are dollar store wire waste baskets, and I like to use them to protect younger starts from squirrels or other critters trying to eat them. Bunnies, I guess. We have bunnies here. I also like to use them on brassicas in the beginning because it protects from cabbage moths. At least they won't fly in there and lay eggs. My plan is to remove these very soon and replace the whole bed with bug netting over the arches here. Probably should do that today. I've been honestly procrastinating because it's been so hot. I did some gardening on Friday and Saturday, and the heat was really not fun. So we have, these are the carrots. I get nervous about thinning them too soon because then I've had times where I've thinned them and then some bug came along and ate what I had left. So I've thinned a few here. Gonna do the rest too. And then we have cilantro down the middle of the row. My grow bags with potatoes, they have all come up. It's time to start hilling these, or at least mulching them with straw. That's my plan. I'm not really gonna hill them per se, but I will fill them up with straw up to the top of the bags. And these beds, I haven't really decided what to do. They are, let's see, weeds and volunteer potatoes from the previous owner, having planted them last year. I might put my tomatillos in here, probably, because I haven't really decided where else they could go. And this taller bed is next to be cleaned out, remove the cardboard and all the other stuff. It needs a good layer of additional soil, which I have over in this pile. And then I will be planting bush beans along at least the back side. And I haven't decided what to put in the front of it yet. Probably more bush beans, but then these beds are pretty wide, and so anything I plant down the middle is really hard to reach. I wouldn't have made them this wide if I'd built them myself. I kind of like beds that are only 3 feet wide. And then this bed, of course, also needs to be cleaned out, but that's where the peppers will go. And then I have some leftover winter sown lettuces and herbs, and I have flowers, zinnias, cosmos, and marigolds. Now we're out this is what I refer to as my husband's garden, even though he kind of started it, but it looks like it's going to be me who actually plants it. This is where I planted potatoes in my very first video, and I think they are finally starting to peek out. And there we go. And of course more weeds from the straw. Let's see, that was just one. Oh, there's another one. That's encouraging. That's all I'm really seeing for now. There's probably more under the straw, but I'm not gonna dig it out right now. And I added sprinklers to this bed, so I no longer have to worry about it getting watered. Let's see. Oh, I made a discovery over here too the other day. We have some volunteer rhubarb. I don't know that I could call it volunteer. This was here from the previous owners, but when my husband came and set up these beds, he covered it up. He took it out and covered it up, but obviously it's come back, and we have a volunteer potato here. And then super common in these parts, volunteer blackberries, which are hard to get under control. So about the irrigation, in the past, when I gardened in California, I used strictly drip system watering. Overhead, I've always heard that overhead sprinklers aren't the best for your plants. They can cause the soil to splash back on the leaves. They can cause disease or molding. But because we don't yet know what we're gonna do permanently with these garden spaces, I didn't want to spend a lot of time and effort and expense on putting in a drip system just yet, especially in my raised garden. I know I don't want those beds forever. I know I want something else. They're disintegrating and wider than I would like. So for now, I've set up the sprinklers in this garden and also in my raised bed garden. So that was a huge relief, because just knowing that things are getting watered and I don't have to worry about it does a lot for me. And over here we have the beginning of what I'm calling the chicken garden. Here they are waiting for treats. These 3 pots I planted specifically for the chickens. They have kale, lettuce, chard. I'm thinking I'm gonna take out what's in the middle of each bed and put each of those little spoon tomatoes I started. They're little teeny tiny tomatoes that I planted for the chickens. So I'm probably gonna just put them in the middle of each of one of these beds. And then I'll be able to toss them over and give the chickens some snacks. But I set up this garden because my main garden is pretty far away from where the chickens are. So I wanted an easy way to just throw things over to them. Come on, eat your veggies. And I forgot to mention that the chicken run here is actually our fruit orchard. Again, this was here from the previous owners. They left a map telling us what types of fruits there are in here. We've got a few different kinds of cherries. Don't remember what this one is. I need my map. We've got, this one's a peach tree. I got exactly 1 peach off of it last year and it was really good. So I'm hoping for more. And then we have a couple of different pear trees. And there's at least 1 Fuji apple tree and a green apple tree. We've got, let's see, these are more apples, I think. And we have 2 Asian pear trees. And I think these might be plums, I can't remember. So I'm really hoping by having the chickens in here that they've helped fertilize the trees and kept some of the pests down for us. We'll see. And here's where they come out from their main coop and run area. And then here, I haven't shown this before. This was here when we moved in. We have many grapes. I was so excited when we moved here, thinking, well, I love grapes. My kids love grapes. I thought that was gonna be awesome. These were mature. They were growing quite a bit when we got here. And then they produced grapes with seeds, which was a major letdown. I have no use for grapes with seeds. So ultimately, I do think I want to take these out, though that's going to be a really huge job. For now, I just feed them to the chickens. But I'd rather put grapes, seedless grapes in here that we can actually enjoy eating. It's kind of a waste of space to have grapes with seeds that we don't want to eat. And then also in this space from the previous owners, we have 2 rows of blueberry plants, and then 2 rows, which need pruning, of blackberries, raspberries, boysenberries, marionberries, probably something else I'm forgetting. And as you can see, I neglected to prune them before the spring when we were supposed to. And so now it's kind of out of control. Maybe next year we'll get around to pruning. Didn't prune the blueberries either, but we got a lot of berries off and there's lots of blossoms. So we'll at least get some berries, and then maybe next year we'll have our act together and actually prune them. And then heading back to the house, we have the green stalks. Oh, I almost forgot. We have grapes here too. These ones were planted before we moved in, and they were very small, looking kind of sad and neglected. But these ones are seedless, so these grapes, yeah, so this one's coming back even though it's all the way down to the ground. I am hoping we can bring these back because these are the ones I want to eat. Let's see, we have any, yeah, these are still alive. There was so much going on with the move that we didn't have a chance to get a handle on watering right off the bat, so they kind of suffered last summer, but I'm going to put soaker hoses on these very soon, and we won't have to worry about that this time. And then we have the green stalks. This is my pretty spiral petunias. Really happy with how that's looking. I just wish that one row of the pinkish flowers would catch up with the others, but it's going to look really, really good. This one's just assorted flowers and plants. Some petunias mixed in, some fuchsias that my husband bought and didn't have a plan for, so I took them, and a couple of random habanada peppers that I've tucked in there. Finally have our first strawberry blossoms on all of the towers, I think. Yeah, we've got some blossoms on most of them anyway. And lettuce, we finally have harvested some, had some last night in the chicken wraps. And of course the herb tower. So that's it for today. See you next time.